Hey everyone, it's your boy Papa Frank, local Roy main professional fraud.
Luckily for Papa Frank, Roy is good at talking up damage, but so is Lucas with these footstool combos. And that, somebody clip that! What a shame!
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't have that in Ultimate anymore. Anyways, with a controller review specifically for the HORI Battle Pad for the Nintendo Switch. So this is not a sponsored video, this is just a controller that I was interested in because of certain characteristics it has. And I figured I would make this video for people looking to get into Smash Ultimate competitively. So this is the controller. I'll be reviewing it from the point of view of an experienced Smash Brothers player, specifically coming from Smash 4. And I want to say this is a good option. TLDR, I had the opportunity to play the Smash Ultimate demo for around 4 hours using this beauty, and it felt good. So I have the Gamecube controller, the new one, over here for comparison. You might be thinking, oh my god, Frankie, if you already have a controller, why would you buy this? There are certain differences that I think could make this even a better option than the, heralded the best controller for Smash Brothers. So I will be going over them in a second. So first of all, just face comparison. You can see there's different finishes. Triggers are different, more buttons on the face. So I will go over those differences shortly. First of all, this controller is basically just a Switch Pro controller inside of like a GameCube shell. It's kind of like it got a facial reconstruction surgery or something. So it is a USB controller. What this means, no, you can't use it for the GameCube. You probably can't use it to play GameCube games on Dolphin. At least you would lose some of the trigger capabilities with it. But yeah, you can use it for pretty much any other game in the Nintendo Switch. I actually played with a friend after we played Smash Bros. We went to his house, we played Mario Kart Deluxe, and it feels great. Very responsive and everything. But there are a couple things that I do think give this an advantage over the GameCube controller. So, first of all, we got 5 buttons in the front that gives us access to minus, capture, home, and there's a turbo button because you can't have third-party controllers without turbo. And the thing is, that's 5 buttons that you don't have access to in the GameCube controller. If you plug it in with the adapter, it's just, there's not enough buttons to go around. Another button that's missing in the GameCube controller, up here you got your little purple Z button, but it's missing the second shoulder button that this one has. And the difference between this and the other GameCube, as you might see, the shoulder buttons are weirdly thin, and that's because these are digital, which is great for the newer games. So this is basically Nintendo just remade GameCube controllers, so you can actually plug this into GameCube. It works perfectly. So they had to keep this analog function that GameCube controllers have. Now, why do I think that might be a disadvantage? So in Melee, you did have the capability to use, these buttons were tied to shield and grab, I think, or both were shield. But if you half press it, you would get a light shield, and if you fully press it, you would get a stronger shield, which serve different purposes. But from Brawl onward, so Brawl, Smash 4, and now Ultimate, there's only one type of shield. And with button remapping, you can also just make your shoulder buttons jump or grab or literally anything else. But the difference is having an analog shoulder button, like the analog value is not read until you hit the bottom, at which point it just reads it as a digital input. So getting rid of all that travel time just means that you're going to have a lot quicker and more precise inputs for whatever you map to your shoulder buttons. What I personally prefer, and especially now having an extra shoulder button, I like to set one of them to jump so that I can just do aerials by jumping with this one and using the C stick, and that gives me movement with the control stick. Is just very optimal in my opinion, but having the 4 buttons that are digital on top is just such a huge improvement, especially for the newer games. It might not be as big of a deal for the new shield in Smash Ultimate, because if you don't know the parry, how it works is you have to release a couple frames before an attack lands, and that's how you get the parry. So for the GameCube controller, releasing is pretty much the same as this one. But for things like jumping and other things, doing short hops with an L jump is kind of cancer. So yeah, now these are good. These are very good. The other thing that HORI advertised with this controller is that it has anti-snapback technology on its control sticks. So what is snapback? Snapback is, it probably happens on every control stick ever, but when you move the control stick all the way over here and you let go and it goes back to neutral position, the momentum just makes it go past neutral and it reads the input from the other side. So this was seen a lot in Smash 4 with one of the most prominent techs being perfect pivoting, just kind of like the wave dash for Smash 4. Your character just turns around and then they would turn around again, which is not desirable in all cases. Just a couple drop frames that could mean the difference between the winning or losing a match. So in essence, I tried this controller out in the Switch's controller calibration tool, and it does have snapback, but it is nothing compared to original GameCube controllers, especially these new ones. At least the first batches, they were just completely awful. I managed to get lucky with one of these. I actually ordered 2. The second one had a little bit of brain damage, probably got dropped as a child, because the neutral position was just completely off-center. This one does have a lot of snapback, but it is workable with. This one has less snapback compared to it. Now, disclaimer, we haven't really had a chance to play Ultimate that much. I only played for 4 hours, and the people that got it illegally and have only access for 2 weeks, and they haven't been able to allow a lot of things. So I don't know how big of a deal this is in Ultimate, because I know perfect pivoting is not in the game anymore. Now it's just mostly dashing and sub dashing, and then you can pretty much do anything in your kit. But it's just a thing that the controller has. It still has snapback. They did manage to reduce it somehow. Other than that, 2 other difference. Controller sticks click, so you can use it with any other game, and the D-pad is a little bit bigger than the original GameCube controller, so that's pretty good because the GameCube controllers have had one of the worst D-pads ever. Not really a big deal in Smash, just because you mostly use it for taunting, except now that I mention it, you can actually set them to whatever. So yeah, other than that, this is a really good option. One thing you would have to note is the cable's pretty long, but if you don't have a Switch or never really cared to see, Switches only have 3 USB ports when in dock mode, and if you're going to be going to Smash tournaments, 2 of those USB ports are going to be taken over by the Nintendo GameCube adapter so that people can play, which means you still have access to 1 port, so you can play 1v1s with these controllers, but there's no way to play 2v2s, doubles, unless you get a USB like hub. But yeah, that's a thing to keep in mind. The cable's long enough. I think it might be 7 feet? More than that, probably. So yeah, it's not going to be a problem you having to plug it back in the back of the Switch. But yeah, other than that, this controller is really great for $25. Oh, I forgot to mention the finish is the same. I mean, the finish is different. The grips are a different texture than the rest of the controller, which gives you a really nice grip on the controller. Even if your hands start sweating, you're gonna have nice grip. A little bit lighter than the original GameCube controller. That's because it's missing motion controls, rumble, and NFC capabilities. Now, this might be a deal breaker for some players, but honestly, I play without rumble. There are certain characters that do use rumble for timing of their combos, like Bayonetta and stuff, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. You can get used to playing without rumble. Other than that, this is a really good controller. I would recommend it if you don't want to buy a GameCube controller because you need to buy the adapter. But yeah, $25, completely recommended. I will make a follow-up video once I play Smash Ultimate for more than 4 hours, see how the controller holds up. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.